So I waited a little bit to make a video since nothing was really happening besides the coronavirus. Hope everybody's doing well, by the way. But yesterday, tampering was able to begin with teams, and they were able to start striking up deals. And with the deal that I can't say that I was completely surprised, seeing that the Niners draft situation is what it is, and they don't have a lot of picks. And they would have needed to have traded someone with some value. The trade of DeForest Buckner to the Indianapolis Colts was definitely a surprise, but not something I was completely surprised with, because he's going to bring you the most value. When they signed Eric Armstead to the big deal that they did, which was 5 years, $85 million, and I think he has an annual salary of like $17 million. They weren't going to be able to pay everybody. With Ward being a free agent too, you knew they were going to be able to pay anybody. But to see them trade one of their most important pieces from last year, even though I think he had a down year, honestly, I thought Eric Armstead actually had a better year. I was still surprised, to see him traded. But for what we got him, we got the 13th pick in the NFL draft from the Indianapolis Colts, and at this point, they have 2 first-round picks, and then they don't pick again until the 5th. I don't think we've seen the end of it. I honestly could see us picking somebody at the 13th and then maybe taking the 31 and turning it around to acquire more picks. This is a deep wide receiver class. A lot of people are assuming that's what the Niners are going to do at 13. I'd be shocked if they went in, for offensive tackle, but they've done it before, so you never know. You have guys like Jared Jeudy and Henry Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, one of my personal favorites, Denzel Mims. He's projected a little bit after that group. They said he's like a Julio Jones. He had a Julio Jones type workout at the combine, and he's got size. He's a big receiver. I think he's like 6'3". He's got size like Julio. To me, personally, I would take a guy like that, but you can't overdraft if he's not, because I know Jared Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and CeeDee Lamb are kind of like the top 3 receivers. And then, like I said, I waited a little bit. Some more fallout happened. The Niners re-signed Jimmy Ward to 3 years, $28 million. You weren't going to be able to keep everybody. And, you still got the contracts of, you got George Kittle's contract coming up, and then you got a couple years before you have to pay Nick Bosa because he ain't going anywhere. So it's an interesting time. They did re-sign, the 49ers did re-sign their offensive tackle, Sean Coleman, to a 1-year deal, which I think is important. You want to have that, like I said, another swing tackle. I think that's a good move. It's interesting. There's a lot of time still. Free agency really actually hasn't dropped yet. It'd be interesting if the Niners are getting active in free agency. I know they were looking at a tight end maybe possibly to sign. But this is going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if they stay where they are and draft those 2 first-round picks, or if they take one of those picks and turn it into multiple picks. I'm thinking they're going to do the latter. There's even that safety, Grant Deplete, who they projected the 49ers to draft at 31. That's still a possibility. Actually, now that I think about it, we re-signed Ward. That probably wouldn't be a possibility. So who knows? Maybe we can go corner, or we could trade out and maybe grab an offensive tackle and another corner. It's again, this is a time of year I kind of like. It's nice that we have a good enough team that we're kind of drafting now at a point where we're not like everything's not a necessity. Like we have enough talent across the board to compete in the NFC West and in the NFC in general. But you got to be like the Patriots in order to elongate your runs to be competitive. The Patriots rarely re-sign their own guys once they come up on big deals. They're able to replenish through the draft constantly, and that's what the Niners. I think they pulled a page out of the Patriots, trading DeForest Buckner. He has a lot of value, and you get a high top 15 pick. You know, some people are critical of it. I actually think it's a great move. I think the Niners have a lot of depth on their defensive line, and so I feel like it's a place of depth. So you could give away somebody. It'd be different if they were like, you know, if they didn't have as much depth as they had last year, even though that depth got tested with injury. But it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen in the draft and maybe in free agency going forward. I really don't know what the Niners' plan is in free agency. They still, you know, they have some contracts on the books that might, you got Marquise Goodwin who could be traded or released. You have Jerick McKinnon. That's a, wait and see on that one if he's going to come back at a lower price or if they're going to release him. It'll just be interesting to see where the Niners go from here. But I'm definitely excited for it. It's sad to see DeForest Buckner go, but you can't keep everybody, and you got to do what's best for the organization. You got to be able to, get some picks in return to keep replenishing your roster, because the better you get, the later picks you get, and you have to be able to hit on those picks. And so the 49ers, the fact that they give themselves 2 first-rounders, they give themselves 2 opportunities to potentially add 2 starters to play, 2 important pieces of this team. So it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I didn't make videos much recently just because there's not much news going on. I feel like it's kind of just nonsense to just put out speculation videos constantly. People don't seem to respond to them. So we'll see going forward what the Niners do. If anything important happens and drops, I'll respond to it. Fun time of year for the 49ers to give us something to do during this coronavirus situation, keeping tabs on free agency and the draft and everything. The draft's definitely going to be affected this year. I don't know how they're going to run that. Just an interesting time. And like I said, I hope everybody's safe. Hope everybody's healthy. And if anything comes up that's of any importance, I'll jump on here and make a video. All right. Thanks, everyone. See ya.